guys, here we are, day 2. Songwriter says, hey!
Hey! Feels like day 2.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Where are we?
Where are we? Yes. Right now. We're in Florida. Western Florida. 38 Songwriters Fest? Is that
exactly what I wanted to know.
I was like, wait a minute, is this a
You were introducing
question?
us, I was like, please tell us where
okay.
where we are.
So, here we are, back at the 38 Songwriters Festival, and I am here with... You want to introduce yourselves, or you want me to do it?
You do it. It's more fun.
Dark Water! Yay!
That's right.
So if you've been following my social media, you know at least who one of the members are, because I've interviewed them in the past. So this is Kristian Bush. And then that's his brother, Brandon.
Hello.
And Mr. Benji Shanks, everybody.
I was going to make him introduce himself because y'all said he was quiet. So
oh, yeah. Who is this?
We ruined
Introduce
that.
yourself,
You said
Benji.
he had to answer all the questions.
A Bush brother from another mother.
Do you guys get that? Do y'all get it? Yeah, no crickets. Nobody said anything. Bush brothers. So, all right. So tell us about what you got going on. And you know what I really want to know is how this came about. Because I know a couple of years ago, you and I believe Chuck Wicks played. You were there, weren't you? At
Yes.
the
These guys,
Fest?
both, I think these both were at Benji.
Okay, so all of you were there.
Maybe.
Okay, so how did this come about?
We've been playing music together for 8 years, 7 years, something like that. And it began, I think, as kind of supporting my solo career when Sugarland wasn't working. I started putting out records as Kristian Bush on country radio and in the grander world of, oh my gosh, he can sing, right? And as we went through that process, we needed to perform. So we started to build a family of a band together. And Benji joined us, and Brandon and I have been playing our whole lives. And what we found is that we were having a lot of fun. And it continued, and it really grew very well. We had a top 20 single. We did very, very well. And along the way, we realized that we had been writing songs off and on. And Brandon came up with a pretty intentional, like, let's make a choice to make stuff together. Like, let's not just play around with, Kristian's singing solo music.
Yeah, I have a propensity to aim for boundaries and creativity. It's kind of my what drives me creatively is instead of like coming into the studio every day and just being like, what are we going to do today? Blank slate, empty canvas. What are we going to do? I prefer to have, some guidelines, some rules, a challenge, whatever it is, to kind of put us into a place. And my original idea, yet unfulfilled, but it's still out there. I was a music director for a play that was being put on in Atlanta that was a theatrical version of Shakespeare in Love, the movie. Okay. And the music for Shakespeare in Love is very Irish, Celtic kind of thing. And I'd been given this, I loved this job. I was having a great time, but there was no band. The band was the actors, who were all amazing musicians in their own right, but they're also acting and putting on this play. Right. So anyway, I have to teach them how to play this Irish music. A lot of it I'm making up to kind of fit the mood of what we're doing, and came up with this concept that sort of as a closing gift to those musicians or as a celebration of what we'd all done together, that we would go make a Celtic metal record.
Nice!
And there's actually a vibrant community out there of dark, folk, gypsy metal. And Celtic metal is a subdivision of that.
I want to join that group.
Right. Yeah. So we started working on this Celtic metal project, and it kind of petered out a little bit, as things tend to do, before I could get the opera singer to come in and do our thing. But we were kind of chucking ourselves on this, like, okay, where are we?
A Celtic opera singer?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they wouldn't let me sing it.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you.
I had too many record deals, of course, and my Cookie Monster vocals were like, blah, 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 blah. Like not great.
So
I don't see you hitting that high.
And so we kind of round 2 of this, we kind of petered out, and I was like, okay, guys, like we need I need something new. I need some new wackadoodle kind of idea. And one of the ideas that we had thrown out was that there was one of the great Grateful Dead records that all of us kind of agreed that we sort of, was in our past, was significant to us in some form or another, was American Beauty. And American Beauty is significant in the Grateful Dead catalog for a really weird reason. They had their money stolen right before they made that record. Okay, so their band manager, who was related to exactly
somebody's cousin or something, right?
It was part of their family, larger family, right? They had gotten a record advance, and basically the guy had run off with the money, and so they found themselves in this weird position of kind of broke. And the only way to hit the bank again of the record company was to turn in a new record. And American Beauty was written, recorded, and released in a very short amount of time. In a time when the band was really, I would say, functioning on all cylinders, like creatively. They were a very creative group and found themselves like, let's go do this record real quick. We took that concept, that style, some of the boundaries, maybe some of those instruments or some of that feeling of what was going on then, and said, let's do that. What if we had to make a record real quick? What if we had to make a record kind of based on what America was going through in 1969?
Which is what we're going through now.
Weirdly,
a lot of
it's
similarities,
exactly like
right?
2020 in a strange way.
And really kind of throw that into the floor. Like, let's go do that. No intention of doing anything other than let's just not do a Celtic metal record. Let's do this instead.
So I was trying to follow. We did Celtic metal, grunge, gypsy,
so it's Plan B. Plan B.
Plan B. All right.
And if either you want to take up the story at this point, just jump in. But
I'm just enjoying the
point being, we did this, and we did this really from there was no commercial intention, no band intention. It was just a fun, creative way to make music on Tuesdays.
Yeah. And Brandon went one extra step. He was like, okay, well, if we're really going to do this, I think maybe, Kristian, you ought not pick up an instrument. Because if you do, it's going to sound like your solo records or country music or whatever. Let Benji and I make some music and send it to you. And there are many ways that a band exists when you co-create. And this is one way that is akin to U2 or akin to REM, where the band develops the musical experience and then they give it to a singer or a lyricist or whatever. And that was very reflective of the Dead because they had a lyricist outside of the machine. Two of them, right? And then so then they would have all this music and then they would somehow connect the two. Yeah. And I loved that idea, and I'd never done it because in Sugarland, Jennifer and I just write at the same time. We just sit in a room and we're like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? We go back and forth. Even in Billy Pilgrim before that, Andrew and I kind of wrote separately most of the time. So my experience over 20 years of, what's successful is not this.
Yeah.
I had no real frame of reference other than the fandom that I had of other bands that had done this. So it was unique to me to get, hey, how about this? And I would stare at it and listen to it and walk around. My kids think I'm crazy because I would be like, you don't realize you're singing so loud. Yeah, I was totally that during breakfast. And so I had this terrible reputation in my house as a result of that. And but what it did is it really gave me the chance to start thinking about what's being said.
Right.
And this music, I decided, at least lyrically, was going to chew off the same issue of what's it like to maybe be at the end of 1960, early 1970. What's outside your window?
Yeah.
And so people were getting assassinated. There was a war you couldn't get out of with an enemy you didn't know. That you couldn't trust your politicians. There was all sorts of promise that technology was going to win. Like they landed on the moon.
Yeah.
Like, there was all this the future's going to be so amazing.
Yeah.
Which is essentially the internet preaching to me now.
Right.
Like, there's going to be robots and cars that drive themselves.
Yeah.
It's exactly what's going on right now. And as I was writing it, I was really affected by my 17-year-old son came upstairs and was listening to what I was making. He goes, what's that? And I was like, why are you suddenly interested? You don't like anything I do. Why are you interested? I mean, he doesn't, it's not that he doesn't like it. It's just not as cool as the things he does.
Right.
And he's like, can you send me that? And I was like, huh. And I realized at that moment that if you're 17 right now, looking out your window, you have the same issue that if you were 17, 18, 19 in 1969, which is, it looks impossible. We're never going to get through this alone. So you're going to have to lean on each other.
Right.
To just pull yourself across the water. And that's what all this music suddenly started to do.
Yeah.
From a meaning standpoint.
Okay.
And then musically, it is just unhinged interesting.
Yeah.
Intro Benji Shanks.
Go, Benji.
Yeah.
You have to talk.
Well,
What's interesting to you about this?
it's uplifting. The songs have a way of touching people. I didn't realize the outreach it would have, especially with like the age demographics to the people that we've played to. Like there are 20-year-olds and there are 50-year-olds, and it's a way to bring these different demographics together.
Well, you got to think about how you're saying that. That's awesome, because I always say perception's reality. But if you really think about that, age is just a number, but the state of mind and the experiences become similar. So the way that your songs grab those different audiences, I mean, you still have hippies today, right?
Yeah,
you still
absolutely.
have people who were, I'm a hippie in a suit. That's what I tell people, you know? So when I was listening to it, I was getting that, almost wore a Woodstock 69 shirt. That would have been perfect.
Perfect.
Now I'm so mad at myself. But it's right. Like the music becomes relatable to the people who lived in the past and the people who are living in the present, and for those that'll live in the future. That's amazing.
I think there's a big part of music appreciation, and I think about this because we're at the songwriter festival that there are multi generations of songwriters that we're just bumping into and seeing on the schedule and excited about. There is a nostalgic element to music appreciation. To the music that you love, the music that you want to turn on and hear. A lot of it, particularly when you get into our age here, it's because you liked it then, because you discovered it then, that you like it now. And I think one of the interesting things about making music that definitely is looking backwards. Has a nice firm view of what came before. Like what we're making, it is not embarrassed or shy about it, enjoying what sounds and chord changes and melodic ideas and thematic ideas were relevant in the late 60s, early 70s. Is that I think, are hitting a chord. I see people relishing in the fact that this is not trying to be anything other than appreciative of a time.
Yeah.
And I think that and it's not, we're not playing Grateful Dead songs. We're not playing cover songs from that era. We're playing music that we're writing now that's a product of who we are. But it's just so unembarrassed of that time.
Yeah.
And there's something just glorious when I see people like light up. They're like, this is what I really love. And I was like, well, that's great. You don't have to hide that. We love playing it,
So Benji, what did he tell you? Like dark Celtic metal or
Well,
I was killing it on that too.
Yeah, I was in on the Celtic metal with him.
Yeah.
I was not.
Yeah.
I was on a Sugarland tour. They were not letting me do this.
This is what happens when Kristian leaves us in the studio.
It started out as a project, like you said, let's write 4 songs that maybe we can license to film or TV. Kristian writes the lyrics, and
we'll get someone else to sing it.
Right, but once he started singing it, it did give it somewhat of a brand, but as like, and not to demean you as a writer, but Kristian is an accomplished writer with all these accolades, and songwriting, it does have, you can't say that it doesn't have a formula, because it does. You have a verse, you have a chorus, you have these things, but like, I feel like what we did was so different. Like when we write together, it has a sound that he can't necessarily package up in a box and take to Nashville and sell it, because it's not that. We're not singing about truck beds and dirt roads. Yeah. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't. I like it.
I don't want to limit our subject matter.
I'm out. Yeah. So like it's for us, like from the raising that we've had musically and how we approach writing, it's real different for me. I know it's different for him, and it's different for him. Like it's something refreshing for each of us, and I think that our sounds stand out in that. Because of that.
I love it. Like one minute I'm getting like a, like the picking, like, I don't want to say funk, like that good funk and that groove. And then it kind of draws you back in. And it's just the constant like change, I think, in some of the songs that I was like so drawn to, because it wasn't the same sound every song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every song was different that I listened to, and I really enjoyed it. Like, paint it blue. Find a different way. But, you know.
What's
I love
interesting
it.
is we're getting like people that are friends in the world that really enjoy music that is more jam based or in that circuit are like, man, we just love hearing great songs. Like, we love the song.
Yeah.
And then our friends that are kind of more in the
Song people.
yeah, song people are just like, we love these sounds. We love how, like, you know, like,
And we love your jams.
the different kind, and I'm just like, can't we all get together? It sounds like we all love what each other do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, can we, like, start a new world of music?
Yeah, right. That's not so genred, if you will.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. So that was one thing that was, like, really hard for me to wrap my head around when I was going to Nashville a lot and back and forth from Europe, was the fact that everybody wanted to just put something in a genre, put you in a box, put you there. And, like, I'm like, no, like, I'll be honest with you, I don't know everything about country music history. Maybe I sing it good, maybe I got the look, but that's not who I am. I was raised on the Beatles. My first concert was Styx.
Right.
My second concert was Kiss. And so I was raised different. And it's like, I kind of felt like, too, and I could be wrong, you can totally tell me this, but from the time I started going to Nashville when I was a teenager till I was an adult, it seems like it became so oversaturated. And everything started to become the same sound. Like, what happened to the people, and even I'm like a Blues Travelers fan or an OAR fan, because their sounds are different and they get to be free form, and that's, I won't say free form, but you know what I mean, like free people, be you, free music, do you, and that's what I hear, and I love it. I really do. No offense, I love your country stuff.
No,
but
I think it's really important. I think that I think that we are at a time now in culture that if you're 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, you see music as a combination of like 7 things that you love.
Really? Okay.
You do. That's if you're Billie Eilish, you are absorbing 7 different things.
It's a yes and.
You're
not a or.
You're spitting it out through a thing, and you know, you listening to Lizzo, and you're like, I love this, and I love this, and why not put, you know, it's like 2 great things that go great together.
Yeah.
There's no reason that roots music can't be that too.
Yeah.
There's no reason country music can't be that too. And a lot of the things that have really ignited have been these things that are not necessarily on the fringes, but are combinations. And that's what this is.
Yeah.
We are a combination of the things that we are. And that's very Southern. Above and among all music, the coolest thing about the South is that when you eat the fried chicken, you also eat the collard greens. Like, you do them at the same time. When you eat the biscuit with the gravy, then you get the information.
Right.
Right? You don't just get country music without the rock and roll or the Southern rock or you don't. You have to have it on the same plate.
Celtic metal.
Or Celtic metal.
That's right. The next Outlander that I'm sure we're going to like. Just kidding. I think it's important, and I think that it's just a reflection of a business. You know, country music is an incredibly healthy community. I always brag that there are more different kinds of country artists than there are any other kind. And you just have to stretch your arms wide enough to get them.
Well, yeah, and I understand that, but it seems like when you go more towards like the mainstream radio, there is a certain sound, I feel, you know? That's kind of where I guess it's hard for me to be pro one genre, you know what I mean? Because I'm not. I love all music, and I guess what I'm trying to say, because I am saying this, but I'm trying to like not be politically incorrect.
Say whatever
you
you
know,
want.
I love country music, but I love music that has a lot more feeling, and you're not hearing the same thing or the same kind of story.
That's what made this feel so good, is because when he sits down to write, he has to sit down and write for the radio in most cases. Yeah. And this was, we had to schedule the time to not write for the radio.
So you're not writing for mainstream radio.
No.
You're writing more for, you know, whatever you want. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And it's different for you.
It's how all great things started. That's how we started Sugarland, is we sat down and wrote whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
And
which I love that.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's and when you can look at it that way, then just ask yourself not where does it belong or how does this fit, or whether just say, do you like it? How does it make you feel?
Can you feel the lyrics?
And that's it.
Feel the music. Yeah.
And then you just repeat that over and over again if you can, or just get used to the experience. I mean, what's wonderful about this experience in this band is that we are very inclusive. So our sound changes every day. So like for instance here at 30A, we don't have a drummer and a bass player. This is the drummer and the bass player. And this is the keyboard player and the guitar player. So when we're in the studio, what you're hearing is the three of us playing everything.
Not session.
So we don't have anybody that joins us or helps us or whatever. This is the mad science of what we're doing.
I love it.
But when we perform, especially with a band, that band is going to change every day. So last night, it was our friend Kevin Leahy and then the Haraway Brothers, who were the Sundogs, right? And they learned it yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And then we performed last night. And then today, it's going to be completely different. Here in this, we're in second day. I'm sorry, I'm probably ruining the theater and what's going on here. But
and tomorrow, Levi Lowry.
And tomorrow, Levi Lowry is going to join us. And maybe one of the Haraway guys, or maybe both of them. We don't really know. But Dark Water's a family experience of musicians who want to come and play these songs that we made but sound like we found.
That's awesome.
And
I love that.
That's cool.
That is so cool. It is a family.
Yeah.
Music is a family.
It is.
You know? But that is super awesome. And it's not ruining it. It's dragging them in.
It's dragging them in.
It's
Right.
bringing them in. Well, so what's been the craziest thing happen to you guys on the road? What's been the craziest thing that did happen?
Yeah, well, we've, I mean, and
we can't discuss these on television.
yeah, right.
I want to hear it all.
Some of that I'm contractually, obliged to never mention again. But
was it a NDA?
Yeah, NDA.
It might have been. It might have been from me.
A good attorney. I don't know.
See, and as Dark Water, we've actually done very limited touring so far because, first of all, it's new, and second of all, like it is sort of an evolving, as a band and live experience. It's kind of evolving, But we have toured together for a long time, particularly under Kristian's solo stuff, and I don't know, hilarity ensues.
I do know. I mean, I remember drinking something out of a jar with a snake in it. I without you guys, I've signed a baby before.
Wait, where on?
There's some just weird things. I mean, it just depends on how deep you want to go.
I really want to hear it. I want to just hear it all.
I have a good baby story for you. So this was on a Sugarland tour, and I think it was Savannah, Georgia, and we're playing the arena, and I have popped out the side door to just get a little fresh air, walk around for a little bit, and it's daytime, and there's somebody she's got a baby in a stroller and is walking around, and she catches my eye, and she comes over, and she's interested in, can I get a ticket? Can I get inside? Can you take me inside to see Kristian and Jennifer? Can you, and she's asking some she's not being too pushy, but she's asking some questions that the answers I unfortunately no. Like, this is, I work here. I'm not going to
Yeah.
But and she understands and walks away a little bit, and then I see her cycle back. I'm on the phone. And she comes in, she goes, do you think you could take my baby in and just get a photo?
No!
And my quick answer was just like, honey, no, I can't do that, right? But had I been just a little bit smarter and on it, I would have taken her up on that just to cross through, just to close the door behind me as I walk in and stand there for 1 second with her baby and then pop back out and be like, did anything register when I walked away with your child?
Did you not think of all the things that
or just
could go
walk into the
wrong?
production office, just with the baby, like, who's that? Some fan outside just gave me your baby. I don't.
Baby's a fan.
Yeah.
Young. We're starting young.
That sounds like the.
Which I don't mean to. I'm saying that sort of in disparaging. I'm sure she was just. I don't know what she wanted. But
Savannah Lovechild.
Savannah Lovechild.
Oh my gosh, is that our side band?
That is our.
Wow, that's
I mean, when you tour, interesting things happen because you're on adventures. They're like road trips, except that you have a destination that's temporary.
Right, very temporary. Very temporary. Yeah. Well, you know what? You guys are really fun.
Oh, well, you are too. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. No. Well, tell everybody where they can see you this weekend.
Benji's got it.
Do you get it memorized?
Tonight at 8 p.m., Rosemary Town Hall.
Okay.
And tomorrow night, 9 p.m. at the Seaside Rep.
Woo!
Awesome.
Yes.
Look at you go.
Yeah.
You did it.
We have and if you will follow this down here, this Darkwater Music, and you find your way to the Facebookness of this, just go sign up because there may or may not be something really fun happening tomorrow.
Uh-oh. Now I gotta do it. I mean, I'm already following Facebook.
And we can't talk about it because it might be against the law.
Oh.
Temporarily. Not like drug or anything, but like maybe something like it's a little punk rock moment that may not happen.
Okay.
But you need to do this down here. You need to get this, and then you need to go and there.
So go follow all their social media. Find out what's happening. Give it a like. Did we have any questions while we were live? Did anybody send in any questions?
Oh, this could be awkward.
Huh?
They were shy.
I have one
shy.
question, which
Why?
is, these people have been setting up this stage this entire time.
You know what?
And I'm a professional. Like, I have seen some stages go up. This one's moving really slowly.
Really?
I don't know about you, but this feels like SEC Saturday.
It does.
It does.
It really does.
It really does. Sorry.
And if I was going to comment on the,
Yes.
and we could live broadcast, I mean, just like Mystery Science Theater 3000, we could make fun of whoever's playing
Or
in
just
a
do
way
little-
that helps.
No, but we'd need the little headsets
The
with the
headset,
mic. Yeah, so that we're,
can we have a Brooks and Dunn
like
headset?
Studio. Well, we need
Yeah.
to do like studio commentator stuff, where we break right after the set.
yeah.
We break to this.
Benji and I are going to need
golf mic.
pocket squares
Oh, yeah.
Pockets.
if we're going to do that.
I would
Thank
need
you
a
for
whole
having
new
us.
outfit. My whole outfit is
It's
all wrong
changing.
for that, I just didn't do a good job for the commentator role.
Thank you so much.
No,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you for having me.
Yes. Come see it. Also, you can pair this with good wine.
Yes, absolutely.
Not yet legal, but there are other things you can pair it with that'll
Absolutely.
go really great.
Yep.
Yep.
Take you to that Woodstock mindset.
Yeah.
69.
One day there'll be a gummy that you can take or a cookie
Possibly.
you can eat
Or a brownie.
that will time out perfectly
Okay.
to a dark water set.
Absolutely. Make sure you eat with it. Don't worry, Master.
I was in jest, but I love this. Okay, go ahead. Well, that's great.
All right, guys. So you saw him here. You heard it here. Now you've got all the information. And you know what? You're going to have to come back, guys.
Will you have a beard
come
next
back.
time? Because
I
I feel a
will.
little weird.
I will. I'm going to wear a beard next time.
Perfect.
And like
great.
the George Washington headset.
You don't have to go all the way.
No, I want to, though.
You can
I'm
sit in the
going all
middle.
and I can sit in the middle, yeah. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning back in. I'm Cortni Bird. This is Backstage with Cortni. You saw it. You heard it here. And keep up with these guys. Keep up with them. I can't wait to see where all this goes.
It'll never be boring.
Never
Never
a
be
dull
boring.
moment. I've even had moments where I felt like, oh no, I'm not on my game. Just kidding. I can't help it. No filter. Anyways, thank you for joining us at the 30A Songwriters Festival. You saw it here on Backstage with Cortni on 30A TV. We're out.
We're out.
Y'all made me